top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. orders DOH to prioritize the fight against other diseases aside from COVID-19.
The Office of the Solicitor General asks the Supreme Court to lift a temporary restraining order against the implementation of the no-contact apprehension policy.
Several groups and media organizations opposed a proposed measure in the Senate to criminalize the creation of spreading of fake news.
The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention sees a severe flu season as the number of hospitalizations increase at an alarming rate in the United States.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Tuesday, December 6, 2022. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harleen Delgado.
First in the news, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said the government must put its attention back to public health issues, ordering the Department of Health to also prioritize the fight against other diseases aside from COVID-19. Nel Maribuhok reports.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. tasked the Department of Health or DOH to also prioritize the campaign against human immunodeficiency virus or HIV and tuberculosis or TB infections. According to the President, the government should not forget other public health issues.
Although COVID is still there, we cannot forget the public health issues that we are, such as tuberculosis, HIV, flu, that are constant threats to public health. We are continuing to monitor the COVID and all its new variants.
The Chief Executive asked DOH Officer in Charge Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere about the department's TB-DOTS program, which aims to eradicate tuberculosis in the country. Vergere told PBBM that the DOH had become more innovative in the fight against tuberculosis, noting that the agency would launch the primary care program that includes TB-DOTS. The DOH OIC said tuberculosis had re-emerged because of its high transmissibility, adding that the illness usually affects people from the lower income brackets of society. Meanwhile, President Marcos Jr. announced that the national timetable for the establishment of farm-to-market roads or FMRs has already been approved, which includes the signing of a joint administrative order scheduled this month.
Lahat ng agencies that are involved, departments that are involved should sign an MOU. Will be signing an MOU by December, before the end of the year, para ma-approve na ang plano para sa pag-construct ng mga FMR.
The GAO on farm-to-market roads will set up the guidelines to make all FMRs interconnected with other infrastructure projects to ensure efficiency in the delivery of services and enhance agricultural programs. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Office of the Solicitor General or SolGen asks the Supreme Court to lift the temporary restraining order against the implementation of the no-contact apprehension policy or NCAP. Dante Almento will give us the details live. Yes, Dante.
Good evening, Harleen. Solicitor General Minardo Guevara asserts that the no-contact apprehension policy or NCAP of some local government units in Metro Manila helps to address the worsening traffic situation. It resulted also to the decrease of data of traffic violations. He mentioned that based on data from the Land Transportation Office or LTO, in 2019 alone, over 250,000 traffic apprehensions were recorded. Hence, Guevara urges the Supreme Court in today's oral arguments to lift the existing temporary restraining order or TRO that prohibits the implementation of NCAP.
In 2019, prior to the pandemic, Traffic apprehensions in the NCR reached 250,767. These statistics underscore the need for innovative solutions to our ever-worsening traffic situation. The NCAP is one such solution.
Guevara added the petitioners failed to cite that they have personal injury due to its implementation. And in the recent survey conducted by Pulse Asia, 8 out of 10 people asked have supported the implementation of NCAP. SolGen Guevara represents as counsel for all the LGU respondents of the petitions assailing the constitutionality of the no-contact apprehension policy. Meanwhile, the petitioners such as the transport groups Kapit, Pasang Mazda, among others, also argued the policy should be declared as unconstitutional. It allegedly violates constitutional rights, land transportation laws, and the Data Privacy Act. Their livelihood is at stake because NCAP has targeted the vehicle owners or vehicle registrations rather than the drivers who made the actual violation.
Further, how can NCAP accomplish its purpose if it targets the registered owner of a vehicle and not the actual driver who violates traffic regulations? This fatal defect defeats the alleged lofty public purpose for which the NCAP was passed.
Meanwhile, Harleen, the petitioners also stressed that the fees being collected are excessive as compared to the other measures against traffic violations, such as those being implemented by the Land Transportation Office and the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA. And that's the latest live from Quezon City. Harleen?
Thank you, Dante Amento, reporting live from Quezon City.
Meanwhile, actor-comedian Bong Navarro is out of the Taguig City Jail at around 6 o'clock this evening. This was confirmed by his legal counsel attorney Maggie Abraham Garduque. Garduque added that they were able to comply with the requirements for Navarro's bail within the day. Navarro has posted 1 million pesos bail, which was fixed by the Taguig Regional Trial Court Branch 69. He was granted over his petition less than a month after the conclusion of the bail hearings.
Several concerns continue to wrap around the proposed Maharlika Investment Fund. A political strategist said Congress should elaborate on the investment process of the MIF. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
Transparency is essential, especially when it involves the hard-earned money of workers. Policy expert and political strategist Malu Tiquia explains there are risks in investing. Putting the people's pension money at risk is something to be reviewed.
If we all put our money there, what happens if it doesn't fly? If, for example, the loss is like 40 billion in 1 quarter, what happens? Magtitinginan tayo na wala ang pondo?
Tiquia also expressed concern that the MIF is being proposed during a global crisis. Several business associations and economic policy groups also doubt the timing and necessity of a sovereign wealth fund. In a statement, the various groups called on the government to continue programs and projects in various industries for nation building. Meanwhile, Government Service Insurance System or GSIS President and General Manager Arnulfo Veloso reiterated that risks are included in investing.
If you want your investment to be totally risk-free, don't expect any return. I have an obligation to my members to be able to pay their benefits.
Meanwhile, the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry also voiced its concern on the proposed Maharlika Investment Fund. According to PCCI President George Barcelon, pooling sources from government financial institutions such as the GSIS and Social Security System or SSS may impact the country's sustainability. It may also affect the country's financial standing. PCCI President George Barcelon said they will wait for more details regarding the proposed MIF.
The government will make sure the decentrality of the pension funds is kept intact. Kasi yung pension fund, pera ng taong bayan. So I'm sure that that would be seriously looked into.
Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Several groups opposed a proposed measure in the Senate seeking to criminalize the creation and spreading of fake news, noting that there are other ways to combat fake news than penalizing people. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
Some groups and media organizations have expressed concern on the proposed bill seeking to criminalize the creation and spreading of fake news. Senate Bill 1296, filed by Senator Jinggoy Estrada, aims to amend the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 by including the dissemination of fake news as a cybercrime. It also seeks to define fake news as misinformation and disinformation of stories, facts, and news, which is presented as a fact, the veracity of which cannot be confirmed with the purpose of distorting the truth and misleading its audience. Attorney Gilbert Andres of Center of International Law opposed the bill, saying that it may violate the Constitution with the overbroad definition of fake news. He also expressed concern on the measure's potential impact on the country's movie industry and possible violation of the United Nations Human Rights Treaty.
Mukhang merong inaccuracy in terms of historical facts, pero meron pong literary truth po doon at symbolic truth po doon. At sa kasamang palad po, baka po maapektuhan ang ating industriyang Pilipino. Lalo na po yung mga historical movies at mga movies po na based sa true to life stories po.
The Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation and Detection Group meanwhile supports criminalizing fake news, but it proposed that this should only apply to fake news that are proven to be causing massive negative effects to the country or groups of people. For some media organizations, criminalizing fake news is not the way to go, as this may endanger free speech. They worry that this might be used against legitimate criticisms and promote censorship. The group suggests to focus on information dissemination and media literacy, as well as engaging social media platforms in taking down posts containing misinformation.
Ang nangyayari po ay yung hindi gusto ng tao, tinatawag na fake news. And person na nag-share lang ng ng false information, hindi nila alam. Samantalang meron din talagang sinasadya. Ang itong mahalagang kailangan mangyari po ay hindi po dapat na na-amplify sa platforms yung mga ganitong post.
Although fake news is a problem, it might be better addressed with better needed information literacy. Mahirap po kasi if tayo yung mag-determine kung ano yung misinformation or disinformation.
Amid opposing views, Senate Committee on Justice and Human Rights Senator Francis Tolentino says he will seek other opinions in crafting the measure.
Definitely hindi tayo payag sa censorship. Freedom of expression as a constitutional right should be protected.
Tolentino sees banning on social media platforms, fines and imprisonment as possible penalties depending on the severity of the act and violation. However, the lawmaker clarifies the proposed measure will still undergo lengthy deliberations.
When someone shouted, "Fire, fire, fire," in a fully packed theater, wala namang sunog. Nagtakbuhan, nagragasa, stampede, dami nasaktan. Do you think hindi dapat i-penalize yun? There might be a boundary for abuse. Titimbangin naman yan.
Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And for our news abroad, Anwar Ibrahim, Malaysia's new Prime Minister, and his cabinet members has announced that they have agreed to take a 20% pay cut from their monthly salaries. Joselito Liquido explains why live. Yes, Joselito.
Good evening, Marielle. Malaysia's newly appointed Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim chaired his first cabinet meeting on Monday, December 5, where he announced that the cabinet ministers of the country's unity government have agreed to take a 20% pay cut in their monthly salaries. According to Anwar, this was agreed by the cabinet to help the public face its problems as the economy continues to recover from the pandemic. The Prime Minister also clarified that he will not be taking the salary from his former position as finance minister before being appointed as prime minister. A total of 28 ministers formed the cabinet lineup, which was announced last Friday, December 2. Anwar also said that this number is significantly lesser compared to the previous government's cabinet, as he was also previously stated about the plan to downsize the team. Meanwhile, the list of deputy ministers is yet to be announced. He also added that appointing of cabinet members as a form of reward will not be a practice in his new government. Mariel?
Thank you, Joselito Liquido, reporting live from Malaysia. A severe flu season is predicted in the United States as the number of hospitalizations increase at an alarming rate. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, said there have been at least 8.7 million illnesses and 4,500 deaths from flu so far this season. The CDC estimates 78,000 flu hospitalizations, and this number continues to be the highest seen at this time of the year in a decade, according to CDC Director Rochelle Walensky. In the past 2 months, the flu hospitalization rate in the United States was 16.6 per 100,000 people, in comparison to the cumulative rate in the past 10 years during the same week of only 0.1 to 2 per 100,000. Some of the causes include the rapid spread of respiratory viruses as people gather indoors due to the cold weather, and lower vaccination rates for people at higher risk from the flu, including those over 65, children, and pregnant women. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Mariel. Meanwhile, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has ordered the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, to expedite the printing of the Philippine Identification System, or PhilSys ID's digital version on Tuesday, December 6. During his meeting with National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA Secretary Arsenio Balisacan, and PSA officials, the chief executive urges them to print out as much as they can and to continue the printing of the physical PhilSys ID the soonest possible time. The printing capacity of the PSA was also tackled during the discussion, and issues regarding late start of the flow of data and the volume of the data, which is less than what is supposed to be, has also been raised. PSA officials reported to the president that the data flow from their agency to the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, or BSP, has been rectified. PSA Undersecretary Dennis Mapa has assured that their agency continues to work with the BSP to boost the production of printing volume of PhilSys ID. Meanwhile, it was earlier pointed out by Mapa that the delay in the printing of national ID cards has been caused by the influx of registrants in the PhilSys. The agency has started the implementation of the printed digital version of the PhilID in October. According to PSA, registered persons can immediately utilize the benefits using the printed PhilSys ID, such as faster and seamless transactions in accessing financial and social protection services requiring proof of identity subject to authentication.
The Philippines seeks to woo more tourists from Saudi Arabia, the country's top Middle East market, as the Department of Tourism moves to strengthen tourism cooperation with the kingdom. Tourism Secretary Cristina Frasco met with key industry players in Saudi Arabia, including Vice Minister of Tourism Princess Haifa Al Saud, during the sideline of the 22nd World Travel and Tourism Council in Riyadh last week, as she pitched the country's viability as a tourist destination. During a bilateral meeting, the officials agreed on formalizing their partnership with Philippines, Saudi Arabia on the opportunities and potential areas of cooperation to advance the tourism sector of both countries.
Taxi drivers who will be proven selecting passengers over the demand of transportation this holiday season may be fined up to 15,000 pesos under the re-implementation of Oplan Isnabero this December. JP Nunez will tell us why.
Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB has already coordinated with the other transport agencies to revive the Oplan Isnabero, which is intended to penalize those cab drivers who are not properly using their taximeters, overcharging and selecting passengers. This move aims to ensure that passengers will be served as influx of commuters is expected this holiday season. According to LTFRB, there are taxi operators who are served show cause order over the alleged violations. On the first offense, they will be fined 5,000 pesos, 10,000 pesos for second offense, 15,000 pesos, and revocation of franchise unit on the third offense. The LTFRB is now developing a QR code system to easily report erring drivers, but commuters are still encouraged to report using their 24/7 hotline 1342 while the system is not yet available.
Meron pong dinedevelop po na QR code system para po mas mapamadali po yung pagre-report po ng ating. Sana maging successful po yung QR code system po natin. Itong December po, dinedevelop na po ng ating ISMD.
Taxi drivers explained why there are times they were forced to choose passengers.
Hindi mo rin maalis sa mga ibang taxi driver, mahal ang gasolina. Yung operator, minsan yung iba, hindi naman nagbababa. Hindi ko rin masisisi yung mga kasama kong taxi driver kasi nga ganun, sa hirap ng buhay. Wala tayong magagawa ron eh, batas yun eh, mandatory yun eh.
Ako ginayari sa akin, dapat ang Commonwealth, lalo season. Pabalik na naman ako rin, traffic. Kaya yung nasabihin ko sa pasahero ko, pasisya na. Dadala na ako, nagugutom ako, gano'n. Talo talaga, kasi kung may midtrain mo, talo, sa mahal ng gasolina ngayon. May midtrain ka, magkano lang yun, sabihin natin sa mula rito hanggang Commonwealth, 300. Eh, paano pabalik mo kung wala?
However, to passengers, the move is fair enough to discipline taxi drivers who are overcharging and snubbing passengers.
Dapat hindi sila namimili ng pasahero. Dapat maging square fair enough sila para lahat ng pasahero na pumapara sa kanila, i-accommodate nila.
Nakakainis rin minsan kasi lalo pag galing ako ng work rush hour, namimili sila.
Kasi kailangan din may disiplina din kasi yung mga driver, taxi driver, when it comes po sa mga pasahero. Kasi sometimes po yung mga taxi driver abusado eh. Lalo na po pag rush hour po. Nangungontrato po sila tapos parang malayo po sa regular rate po ng pamasahe. So I think kapag pinatupad po yung pag in-implement po yung ganyang policy, siguro naman susunod na sila kasi syempre malaki rin yung 5,000.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
A proposed measure seeking to lower the qualifying age of senior citizens to 56 has been filed in the Senate. Senate Bill 1573 aims to amend the expanded Senior Citizens Act that defines a senior citizen as any resident citizen of the Philippines at least 60 years of age. Senator Bong Revilla, who filed the measure, says this is to highlight the invaluable contribution of the elderly to the country. Should the bill be passed into law, all Filipino resident citizens at least 56 years old shall be considered as a senior citizen and will be entitled to the benefits that are due to them. The lawmaker also filed a bill seeking to require establishments to provide priority seating for senior citizens.
The Supreme Court has not issued a temporary restraining order or TRO in favor of disqualified Albay Governor Noel Rosal over his petition. But the court ordered the respondent or the Commission on Elections or COMELEC to file a comment on Rosal's petition within 10 days upon receipt of the notice. Rosal filed a petition for certiorari or review with the plea of temporary restraining order last November 21 to allow him to continue serving as governor of Albay. Meanwhile, UNTV News has asked for a reaction from COMELEC, but they have no response yet.
Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board investigates alleged inconsistency of Grab's charge to its passengers. The firm denies allegations, explaining their fare is within LTFRB's allowed charges. JP Nunez will tell us why.
A hearing over the alleged overcharging of ride-hailing company Grab was conducted on Tuesday, December 6, in response to a show-cause order issued by the Land Transportation, Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB. The board said their technical division found out an inconsistency on the fare they are charging.
Meron po kasi tayong sinusunod po na fare structure mula po noong 2019. So nakapaloob po doon yung authorized fare structure ng TNVS. Okay. So may inconsistency po na initially may nakita po ang technical division. So yun po yung tinitignan po ngayon ng board.
In the said hearing, the firm was asked to explain why they imposed an 85 peso minimum fare and additional stop-based fare of 40 pesos that is considered a violation on the terms and conditions of the transport network vehicle companies. Grab has denied the allegations and explained that their fare is based on the fare matrix released by the LTFRB.
Anything that we charge in terms of our fares is within the allowable fare matrix provided by the LTFRB.
Head of Mobility EJ De La Vega further expound that 85 peso minimum fare was intended for the welfare of its partner drivers as the company now having shortage of TNVS.
Short rides are ultimately, it's a 1 kilometer, very short ride. It's an inefficient ride is how we view it. No? Okay. But even that, with the fare matrix that's currently in place, the 85 pesos is within what is allowed to be charged. That's the first one. On why it's there, it's ultimately to protect the efficiency of our drivers. We are in short supply right now of TNVS.
As of now, the Grab's TNVS partners are only 40% compared to its pre-pandemic number. Another hearing has been set on December 13, which is intended for the firm's actual presentation of their application on how they come up with the charges they collect from their passengers. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The United Kingdom Met Office warns England to brace for severe level 3 cold temperatures and widespread frosts across the country. Nerissa Dando will tell us why live. Nerissa, go ahead.
Good evening, Marielle. A cold Arctic air is expected to sweep the country from Wednesday, December 7, and will last until next Monday, December 12. Residents are advised to prepare for the cold shock after a particularly mild autumn. Very cold nights, severe frost, and freezing rains are also forecasted in addition to the plummeting daytime temperatures. The Royal Automobile Club, or RAC, advises drivers and motorists to make sure their vehicles are winter-ready, as the sub-zero temperatures affect the engines, especially for older cars. Additional alerts are given to those with health risk, are vulnerable to cold, and are elderly aged 65 or over. They are advised to stay warm indoors and maintain temperatures of at least 18 degrees Celsius, also ensuring they have plenty of fluids and warm food. Social and healthcare services have been required to take action over the next couple of days. The United Kingdom, or UK, Met Office works in accordance with the UK Health Security Agency from November to March. Their system includes 5 alert levels, ranking them in how significant their effects on people's health will be. Ariel.
Thank you, Nerissa Dando, for that live report. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Mariela Toza reporting live from Perth, Australia. Good evening.
The Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, or PITX, expects up to 170,000 passengers a day during holiday season. Janice Inhente tells us why.
As the year-end nears and COVID-19 restrictions for travelers eases more, Passenger volume in Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange or PITX is expected to increase up to 170,000 during holiday rush from 120,000 passengers daily on regular days. According to Jason Salvador, the head of corporate affairs at PITX, as the month of December comes in, foot traffic at the said terminal increased. That is why PITX is now gearing up for the expected volume of passengers.
Napakadami na pasahero na dumadaong dito sa PITX, no? From a regular of 120,000 per day, ngayon pumapalo na tayo ng 130 to 140,000 passengers per day. Inaasahan natin na tataas pa to up to 160 to 170 during the Christmas rush. Abala rin tayo sa pagsisecure ng kanilang mga seguridad, di ba? Gusto naman natin pag sila'y dumaong dito sa PITX, magiging matiwasay, maayos at ligtas ang kanilang pagbabiyahe.
Aside from health and security measures, PITX are also coordinating with Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB to ensure available buses to cater the volume of passengers. 5,000 buses is expected to operate during holiday rush. Meanwhile, some of the passengers took the chance to travel early to avoid rush of passengers at the terminal.
Kuwait, tapos Dubai, tapos dito Manila. Tapos biyahe naman papuntang Pilar.
Bakit?
Kasi kailangan na rush hour na. Magki-Christmas sa habol. Mabutan na tayo ng maraming pasahero. Mamaya hindi tayo, mas stranded na tayo dito. Kaya mas okay na din yung maaga pa makauwi na.
Dapat po kasi 23 pa yung uwi ko eh. Kaya lang po, mahirap na kasi yung sumakay kasi marami po kasi yung uwian na mga pasahero. Kaya inagapan ko na lang po.
Para po makaiwas din po sa rush po ng mga pasahero ng sumasakay po. Mga malapit na po yung Pasko, marami na pong sumasakay.
PITX management also reminds the public to travel light and book a bus ticket in advance to avoid any problem during their travel. Janice Hente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Bureau of Customs or BOC and the Department of Agriculture or DA has conducted a physical examination against intercepted container shipments of agricultural products believed to be smuggled on Tuesday, December 6, led by Port of Subic or POS District Collector Marites Martin and Agriculture Assistant Secretary James Layug, with Shirley David of the Bureau of Plant and Industry Plant Quarantine Service Region 3. Representatives from the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority, the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, and the Chamber of Customs Brokers Incorporated were also present during the inspection. It was revealed during the inspection that the 1x40 shipment of Veneta Consumer Goods Trading, which was declared as assorted foodstuff, were found to contain frozen carrots. Meanwhile, the 2x40 shipments consigned to Lalavi Aggregates Trading, which was declared as frozen lobster balls and crab sticks, contained fresh red and white onions. After the conduct of complete examination and inventory, the POS will issue warrants of seizure and detention or WSD against the shipments.
Our Kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you, very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Proverbs, chapter 26, verse 17. It says, "To grab a dog by the ears is asking for trouble. So is interfering in someone else's quarrel if you're just passing by." And those are the reasons behind the news December 6, 2022. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Hardy Delgado.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.